Hey guys, welcome back to the Alcohol-Free RV. Today we are in Spirit Lake, Iowa. Actually, the suburbs. Spirit Lake doesn't have suburbs. It's a tiny little town. But we're staying in Okoboji, which is just west of Spirit Lake. And the resort that we're staying at is Cutty's Okoboji. And it's a really nice park. We have had a great time in this little community and just wanted to share a few things that we found exciting in this area. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. So the Spirit Lake area of Iowa is called the Great Lakes of Iowa. It's kind of reminiscent of a lot of the Great Lakes, which we're going to be headed towards here in the next week or so. But there are 3 main lakes and then a bunch of smaller ones. So there's Big Spirit Lake, which is lots and lots of acres, in the thousands at least. And then there's East Okoboji and West Okoboji lakes. These two are connected. Spirit Lake is disconnected from the other ones. There's just a small isthmus. Can you say that? Isthmus? Is that how you say it? So a little strip of land that basically divides the two areas. Anyways, the area is quite green, quite lush, and there's lots of farmland once you get right outside of town. But the things that there are to do in town, we found a number of things. And so the first one is we took a hike. You know, there's lots of state parks in the area, somewhere in the neighborhood of 9, I think. I don't know the names of them all, but we'll talk about our experience. I guess it's not really a state park so much as a general Department of Natural Resources area. And it's like a conservation area. And we took that hike the day after we arrived. And I think we've got a few pictures and a few panoramas that we can show you looking over the water as we made our way around those lakes. Hopefully you enjoy. So we went to Vermeer Glass Art. It is on the corner of 3rd Street and Grand Ave in Spencer. I think that's what that says. Well, we are arriving very shortly down to the location where we used or did our little glass adventure. And so hopefully I can find it again. Should be pretty easy. It's in the town of Spencer, which is about 30 miles south of the lakes. And it is just a nice little small community. When we came down to actually do the art, I'm just going to pick it up today. When we came down to do the art, they were having their like Flag Day celebration. So there was a parade and everything, getting the community together, which was really cool that they have those kinds of things. And they apparently get together with community events pretty often here in Spencer. So it's kind of a cool thing to do if you're in the area. Check them out. I know I'm coming up on here, but yeah, it is a very small community, but has that old-timey feel. Plenty of little shops to check out. And this is my turn. Here we are, Vermeer Glass Art. Hi, Julie. Good, how are you?
Pieces turned out good.
Awesome.
There you go.
You even wrapped them up real nice. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Yeah, too.
One other thing that we did, which was a complete surprise, we got cultured up here in Spirit Lake. And from a culture perspective, I totally did not expect to see the ballet in this small town. So the ballet was actually the Ballet Des Moines, that ballet company, and they have a summer STEM tour, which basically is this year the theme was Women in STEM, and so they had different people from the community and that are involved in science, tech, engineering, and math. One of the places that had a little display was the Lakeside Lab, which has public programs during the evenings in the summer, a couple of times a week or whatever. Oh, the other thing about Lakeside Lab is really awesome because they provide the opportunity for people in the sciences, STEM realm. They provide experiences for those people to actually be on site and perform science and art, interestingly enough, science and art together during like a summer residency program, which is really cool. And you can apply for residency there, and they have aid that makes it possible for you to serve your residency with housing included and, if I remember right, maybe a small stipend as well. So it's a really cool way to get involved in the sciences and the arts here in Spirit Lake. Now, all of that preceded a actual ballet that was maybe, well, like those, they had like a activities before the ballet started. So the ballet started at 7, and they had 4 numbers that they did, lasting almost an hour and a half. And man, they did a really good job. Now, Ballet Des Moines hits a number of places throughout the summer with their STEM tour, but they do have a permanent place that they generally utilize in Des Moines. So if you want to check them out, I'll put the link to Ballet Des Moines in the description down below, and you can check out the different shows that they're doing throughout the year. Now, fishing is a big industry out here in these Spirit Lakes, quote, Great Lakes of Iowa area. There are tons of boat shops. These lakes are large. Like, we're not talking about these little tiny reservoirs or whatever. They're really big. So you can use your pontoon boats, you can use speed boats or fishing boats. There's some charters in the area. So if you want to get connected with a captain, there are places and resources where you can find that if you're visiting this area. Now, we did not go ahead and get a boat or a charter or anything here because we are going to Lake Huron here shortly, and we'll probably want to spend some time on those waters as well. So yeah, we'll give you a little info on that when we get there. So if you want to see our adventures in northern Michigan, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that little bell icon, and you'll get notified when those videos come out. Aside from boating, another very common activity out here is biking. There is a number of bike trails in the area. Some of them are multi-use trails, some are just strictly for bikes. There's a paved trail that they're still building, adding to, that eventually will, as I understand it, it's going to be built up to basically go all the way around the north end of Spirit Lake, the lake, and then all the way around the two Okoboji lakes. We rode on a section of that, and we took, I don't know, it was maybe an hour, 45 minutes, I don't know. We rode our bikes from the Cutty's Resort all the way up to Pikes Point State Park, which is just kind of a small landing area. There's a swim zone in that park. It is state park. But what I found interesting is most of the state parks in this area have no entrance fees. There are two. So if you want to go to these two parks, and I don't remember which ones they are, but they are linked on the Iowa Department of Natural Resources page. So I'll link that in the description below if you want to check that out. But the part of the trail that we rode on actually sides along Highway 86 and works its way south all the way basically down to where 71 and I think that's US 71, where 71 and 86 meet, and then it loops back up around towards Arnold Park, which is a little amusement park that is basically right on I guess that would be the east side of the East Lake. I could be wrong. I might be mistaken which lake it's on, but it sits right on the water. Now, you can get into the park for free, but if you want to ride rides, there is a cost to that. Now, in addition to the rides, which there's, I don't know, maybe like 20 little rides, it's mostly geared towards the smaller children. There's a lot of kiddie rides. You got the tilt-a-whirl and bumper cars, and one roller coaster that maybe tops out at 60 or 70 feet tall. It's not real big. But, you know, if you have small kids, it's a great place to, you know, spend the day and ride the little rides and get the kids exposure to that kind of thrill for that age level. Outside of the actual amusement park area, there is like a boardwalk and there's shopping. So if you want to check out like some wares from the area, we walked past a couple of shops that had, you know, just shirts and outdoor equipment, you know, whether it's fishing and hiking and that kind of thing. But we also found two places that I've got to tell you about that were absolutely amazing. They're right next door to each other and they're right on the water. The first one is an ice cream shop, and their ice cream was absolutely amazing. I'll put the name of that shop on the screen so that you can see it, and if you want to check them out, you'll have that name so you can write it down. The other place that we went, my wife and I took a night away from the kiddo and went to Maxwell's, which is a fine dining establishment in the area. I think it's a Spirit Lake address. I don't know for sure. Maybe it's considered Arnold Park. Like I don't know like the little network of towns that's around here and where the borders are, but Arnold Park might be in Arnold Park, Iowa. I have no clue. But Maxwell's was absolutely amazing. Now, since it was fine dining, we didn't take any like pictures of anything. We were just having a nice time, just the two of us. And they have indoor seating and outdoor seating. As I understand it, there's two different menus depending on where you're seated. But we sat inside because we didn't want the bugs and stuff. There are a lot of flying around things here in this area, so we chose to sit inside. And man, the chefs there have done an amazing job of putting together an excellent, delicious menu. And there are so many things on that menu that I wanted to try, but I only have one stomach this time. So I guess I had to kind of cut my losses. But we did have an appetizer of beef carpaccio, absolutely amazing. And then for the super salad, which was off, you could choose super salad with any entree. And so we both tried the broccoli cheese soup. Again, absolutely amazing. It was delicious, it was creamy, it was rich, had a little bit of carrot in there as well, maybe a little potato, and it was amazing. Like, I normally don't eat soup in the summer, but I'm really glad I tried this one out rather than just a salad. And for the main courses, I've always wanted to try, because I like to watch that show Hell's Kitchen on, I don't know if it's like, you know, public TV or whatever, but Hell's Kitchen, they have this beef Wellington, and I've always wanted to try it, and they had beef Wellington there. And so it was a, probably about a 5-ounce fillet wrapped in, well, served with spinach and a creamy goodness inside of the puff pastry. It was cooked to perfection, perfectly medium rare, and so soft, so tender, and so well seasoned that it really shined as an entree. That particular dish comes with a citrus cream sauce. The citrus is orange. I have to ask because oranges and I don't get along, but they also have a demi-glace that can go with it as well. It was served with grilled carrots, and those were cooked perfectly as well. Still had a little bit of bite to them, but not too much. They weren't crunchy and they weren't mushy. They were cooked just right. We also had, Rachel ordered the chicken bravura, which was another puff pastry wrapping chicken breast with a wonderfully complex cheese. It was like soft cheeses and seasoned really well. And then with that, it was served with asparagus and some sort of cream sauce as well. The cream sauce is something that, you know, would typically go well, like a hollandaise type sauce that would go very well with asparagus and the chicken. And again, the chicken was super moist. It was, you know, well seasoned, and the puff pastry on it was just right. Like, had the right amount of crunch to it. And the portion sizes were amazing. Like, they were just right. We had room for the appetizer, we had room for the soup, we had room for the entree, and we even had room to share a dessert. And if you go to Maxwell's, you need to try the sticky pudding dessert. It was absolutely delicious, super, super moist, and it was very sweet, very rich. It was warmed up. It had a drizzle of like a caramel sauce on it. It seemed like the top layer of the actual torte was like a what do they call that? The creme brulee, where you know, fire up the top of the thing. So it seemed like a creme brulee on top of this little cake type dessert, and then just full of this rich caramel sauce. I'm glad that we chose to split that dessert, because I think it would have been too much, just too much richness, too much sweetness for me as one person. If you're really into the sugar things, you might be able to take down the whole one, but we chose not to. And at the end of the meal, it was the perfect amount of full. I wasn't overstuffed. Rachel, on the other hand, was more full. She doesn't normally eat nearly as much as me, and she kept up for the whole meal. But overall, it was a wonderful experience, and I was very happy to have found a nice restaurant that we could go on an actual date rather than just picking up fast food. There were a couple other restaurants in the area that we wanted to try, but they weren't open on Monday when we went for our personal date. So I have no idea if we would have been as satisfied, but man, I was just tickled pink with how well that meal was put together and served to us. So really want to thank Maxwell's for serving us a wonderful meal. and really want to have you guys check it out if you come up to this northern Iowa Spirit Lakes area.